Manifestation is simply a tool in order to get better things. It's not magic, it won't magically give you a text from your ex. It's just a tool that is allowing your brain to tap into a certain mode where you can get better things. Hi, my name is Ben. I make self-improvement content. You're clearly interested in that, so you should go ahead and subscribe. Now, manifestation is just you simply just starting noticing things. Like, for example, if you want a new pair of headphones and you really want to save up for them, you start noticing them a lot more. Like when you go to the gym, you see a lot of people with that pair of headphones. If you walk on the street or go in your car, you see people with the pair of headphones. So that's kind of how manifestation works. For example, I have like an exercise you can do right now. I assume you're sitting in your room. So just go for like 10 seconds, 1 minute or something, just all the blue colors you can see in your room. Before you probably didn't notice them, but when you start to focus on all the blue colors, you start to notice these small things. And that's what manifestation is. When you want something to happen, you start to notice the things around you and you'll have an easier time taking action upon them. Now, the way you can actually use this is, let's say there's a skill you want to develop. Let's say you want to be really good at talking with girls. You'll start, just by manifesting things, you'll start to notice all the girls around you. You'll start to notice all the girls who are your age, you probably can talk to, who you could see yourself together with. So just by believing can get more girls, you will automatically notice it, and if you couple that with action, you will start to get more girls and you'll become better at that skill. Now that you start noticing these things like all by themselves, like your brain now automatically like works towards your goals. Like your brain is in this mode, let's say it's in the girls mode, right? Your brain is in this mode where it's just gonna see, girls all around you, your age, who are looking good, and it's just gonna automatically, tell you to approach them. And the more you do something, the better you become at it. So the more girls you approach, the better you'll become at it. Now that you start noticing these things, you're already getting better, at talking with girls or better at approaching girls. So the way you can do this even better is to think you're really good with girls. So when you start to think about that, you'll start to notice all your good traits, like, oh, I'm very extroverted, oh, it's super easy for me to talk with girls, I'm super good looking. When you oppose that to thinking you're super bad with girls, you'll just think about all the negative traits you have. So you just need to think about, you're already good with girls, and your brain will already think about, all the positive traits you have, and therefore you'll be more confident when speaking with girls. So, you can kind of compare this already to, thinking about you having a good physique versus a bad physique. If I, put in my brain, oh, I have such a nice physique, right? I'll start to notice all my strong points, like, oh, I have a nice chest, I have some nice shoulders. But, if I think I have a really bad physique, I'll say, oh, but my arms aren't really that big, and, my waist is kind of big. So just by thinking positive thoughts and thinking you're already good at something, you get higher confidence. And, people who are more confident are more willing to take risk, and once you take more risk, you make more mistakes and you learn a lot faster. Now, the two benefits of manifestation is, of course, I have to motivate you, so you keep watching. So the number one benefit was, your brain automatically works towards your goal, which means that, for example, the exercise we did, if you just sit and look out your room, right, and start noticing all the colors of blue, right, you just start noticing small things that you didn't do before. So this is how it works. Like your brain automatically, looks for the goal or the skill you're trying to learn, and that way you're automatically becoming better at it. Now, the second benefit is, of course, that hard stuff will become easier. So for example, talking to girls will become easier because you start noticing all the good things about you, like all the positive flaws, and you'll just have more confidence, and that leaves you with a higher success rate, I guess you can say. Now I'll give you some extra tips on how to manifest and some of the things I've personally used. You can kind of call these affirmations, although I don't really believe too much in that, but these actually do work. So the first one is, it has already happened. This is super useful when it comes to strength. Like let's say you're going for 1 rep maxes, let's say you do deadlift, right? And you really want to hit a 200 kg deadlift. Just say to yourself, I've already done this before. What this allows your brain to do is, use a little more extra muscle. Because for those of you who don't know, your brain has this limiter on how much muscle you can use. I believe it's like around 5%. So if you were to use, more than that, your body would like hurt itself. So let's say you use 50% of your muscle capacity. Your bones would start to break, your body would like get smashed, and etc. because your muscles are a lot stronger than you might believe. And that's simply because your brain has put the limiter on, so you don't hurt yourself. And this is why you also see videos, of people who are not very strong, suddenly lifting cars in order to, save their children. It's because, the brain turns this limiter off. So you can kind of fake this in a way. I know people say you can't really fake it, but if you already have done something before, if you fully, believe you've done it before, your brain starts to believe, it's safe, and it'll give a little more extra muscle. At least that's what it feels like. I might not even use more muscle capacity, but it certainly helps with my strength. I hit 200 kg simply because I started believing it has already happened, and I'm sure I have the capacity to hit that. It helped with my strength. It might help you as well. Also, another thing is just manifestation is kind of like hypnosis. You're not going to get hypnotized unless you're 100% willing. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but you can't get hypnotized unless you yourself are 100% willing. That's why you don't really see people hypnotizing people on the street and making robberies, because it only works if people are willing to get hypnotized. And that's kind of the same with manifestation. It only works if you really believe in it and you actually believe it's true. So that's what the next thing is. Think it's easy. This is also super useful for PRs. If you think it's going to be tough, if you think you're going to struggle, if you think you're going to fail, the PR is going to be very hard to lift. So just think it's super easy, think you've done it before, and it's going to be a lot easier to lift the weight. Now the third one is don't think, just do it. This is also super useful when it comes to strength. The amount of people I see who just like breathes a lot and waits for the music and all that to lift heavy weight, like they're almost like hyperventilated, just and you stand for like 2 minutes. This is super dumb because you're using a lot of energy and you're fatiguing yourself. So instead of overthinking, thinking that, oh, it's gonna be hard, it's gonna be tough, just like do it. Go up to the bar, lift it, and then walk away. Because when you stop overthinking it and you just do it, it just becomes easier for some reason. Confidence is key, even when it comes to lifting weight. If you're confident that you're going to hit the weight, you are going to hit the weight. If you start to not believe in yourself, you will struggle a lot more through the lift. Now, the fourth and final affirmation is to believe that you're gifted at it. So when you believe you're very gifted at, let's say, deadlift, right? You'll start to realize, oh, I actually have really, really long arms, and my waist is kind of big, which is also good for my lower back, which will make deadlift even easier. So once you start, it's easy, or you're naturally genetically gifted, you'll start to pay attention to those areas where you actually are gifted, and it's also going to make it easier to do stuff. Now you can also translate all these affirmations into other stuff than strength lifting, like I'm gifted at speaking to girls. It comes naturally. I think it's easy to do business. I don't really overthink cold approaches, I just do them. This can both be with business and girls, and act like it has already happened. Like if you act you're already like a really rich guy, it will come eventually, because you just start to pay attention to the things that make you rich and you start to take action on them like automatically. Now I have 3 last other tips and tricks I can give you guys. So these are not like affirmations, these are some more tips. Now the number one, this may sound a little bit silly, but believe you're superior to others. Now you should not show this, you should not tell anyone about this, but you have to believe that you're better than others. And once you start to believe that, just like the rest of manifestation, you start to pay attention to the things where you actually are better than people, and then you will start to have this view of yourself as being better than other people. Now it sounds really dark and it sounds like it's not going to be very healthy. But if you do it in the correct way, which I would say it's simply for your own benefit, and you don't ever tell anybody else, like you will just get high confidence without being an asshole, right? So it's just for your own mental view of yourself. You shouldn't ever show it to other people, because people get so pissed off. They'll call you a narcissist, they'll call you so much stuff if you start to act like you're better than them. So don't ever act it, show it, or tell it. Just have your own view of yourself to be better than others, and you'll start to become better than others naturally. Now if you're really struggling to manifest some things, I would recommend taking test to affirm your superiority, if you can say that. So every time something positive happens, I want you to make a note on your phone. You just write it down every time. So some good accomplishments is oh, I hit strength, or I actually signed this client, or I went up to talk to this girl and she was actually interested. when you start to write down all these success stories, right, you can always like read them through. I got this from Hans, so you can always read them through. And you know, by reading all your accomplishments and achievements, you just become more confident and become better. So like difficult things will become easier because you know you have done it before and you were successful. So just write down a bunch of successful stories and you start to like almost like manipulate yourself into you're very, you know, a guy who achieves a lot. And that's what you want to do. Now the last tip is to create an alter ego, like a perfect version of yourself mentally. So you can always ask this person for guidance. You can always, so you just need to have a very clear visualization of this, and you can always use it like, it's kind of weird as a mentor because you know, at the end of the day, you already know what you're supposed to do. You already know what to do. You just don't always want to do it. So it's kind of a way to kick out laziness because, oh, what would the perfect version of me do right now? Okay, he would stop watching the show and get to work. Or what would the perfect version do with me right now? Oh, he would just be confident, just have fun. So yeah, create an alter ego and you can kind of use it as a mentor. It sounds kind of weird, but this was everything. I hope you guys kind of understand it. Like, of course, manifestation only works if you genuinely, like 100% believe it. Like, there's a lot of things, like if you guys really want like an in-depth guide, you could read Psycho-Cybernetics, because that one gives like a much better overview. But this is just like an intro, and once you really start to believe in it, of course, you know, it's not gonna happen just by, you know, thinking about it. You have to take action on it, of course, which I think a lot of people misunderstand. But you know, once you start to actually do this, it's a super useful tool for, you know, to be lazy and still get a lot of results. So yeah, that was everything. I hope you guys enjoyed. Click subscribe if you haven't already.